Welcome to Evalasting Peace, where we discuss all things related to trying to conceive, infertility, prenatal diagnosis, pregnancy, baby loss, and connecting in the afterlife. I am Lori, the mother of Eva, who lived for 22 precious days on this planet. And I realized I haven't really shared Eva's image too much, so I'm just going to take a moment right here. This is my game changer, Eva. And I say game changer because life was vastly different after she came into ours. There is a before and an after in baby loss. And I know this doesn't just happen in our sphere. I was actually having coffee with a friend the other day who had a major surgery, and she was talking about how now when she goes out in the world, things feel different. She feels different, yet people look at her the same. And I could totally relate. So I know that this happens in many different aspects of life, but of course we're looking at baby loss here. And we are forever changed by these beautiful souls that touch down on earth for just a moment in time. But they leave a huge impact on the world around them, on their parents, on their siblings, grandparents, friends, family. And bereaved parents, of course, there is significant change that happens to us. And I know for some, we all have different experiences with baby loss. Some of us, it happened in miscarriage. There was a moment, a week of slowly losing our child, or with stillbirth. All of a sudden there was no heartbeat and we had to birth our precious babe. And for me, it was kind of a long, drawn out few months where we received Eva's prenatal diagnosis when I was 28 weeks pregnant with her. And that definitely was a clear line of before and after. Life was forever changed in that instant when we spoke to the geneticist over the phone and she shared Eva's extreme genetic abnormality. And that is the moment in time when the whole world went black, and I can actually understand what that terminology means now. But there was a gradual unfolding for us where we didn't know how long she would live. And we were really preparing to be parents to a child with special needs, a disabled child who would need extra help. Would that mean I would leave my job? There was just lots to consider. And it wasn't until Eva's death that it was very clear that we were different people now. Walking into the grocery store after your baby dies and looking around and thinking, gosh, everyone's just going about their business in a normal way. And here I'm gutted and different, and no one would know it to look at me when I go back to work. Of course, they knew what happened, but I always felt like the drive to share my writings on social media, and that was definitely for other bereaved parents. But it was also so my friends and family and coworkers could comprehend a bit of what I was going through and know that no, Lori is not the same person that she was before Eva. And there's a grief in that. There's a grief in letting go of the person we used to be. But I can tell you now, 4 years later, oh, I am so grateful for who I am now. I would not go back to that person. I have so much more of a realization of the richness of life because Eva was here. I don't, there's so much, of course, that we don't take for granted anymore. Even my son, there's things he doesn't take for granted. He now has a baby brother that is living, and I know that he is a different sibling because of his sister. We've talked about that in a little just a little bit in a video that I did with Max, and I'll share that here. But just so many different aspects of who we are has changed when the trivialness of life gets stripped from us and we can really focus on what's important. There are lessons. There's so many lessons to be learned. I have a dear friend that I've met through the death of our daughters to the same diagnosis, and she's actually writing a book about all the lessons gained from her daughter. And let me just stop right here and say, no, you don't have to focus on the good. You don't have to, there doesn't have to be meaning in the death of your child. But really, I haven't come across anyone who's had experience like mine who hasn't found some meaning, who hasn't recognized that their child is the game changer in their life. Many people have experienced a lot of trauma in their life, but this is a unique situation that only we can understand. We often think that, your children are supposed to outlive you. So this is an out of order death that we don't really understand, of course, until it happens to us. And in the beginning, in those early days of grief, I'm such a positive person, and I would share all the positive memes, and really just looking at them kind of made me sick. They didn't sit right with me anymore, and the trivial ones, the ones that just kind of gloss over. The toxic positivity, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because I'm still a positive person after Eva. That's just who I am. I'm an optimist through and through, and I always will be. And I was finding the beauty in her life while I still carried her with a terminal diagnosis, while I sat in her NICU room and could feel the pity of friends and family as I would share what she was going through on social media. And I would just sit there and think, oh my gosh, I am so blessed to be the mother of Eva. I have such a deeper understanding of life on earth now because of her. So even then, I know I was seeing in all the beauty that she was bringing. But I have another video, and I'll post a link here, about the human and the soul. There's grief. We're human. We're going to see the darkness. And truly, grieving for me has allowed me to know myself better. To walk through that dark night of the soul has really helped me touch upon who I am, how I process things, how I move through the darkness and reach for the light again. And I know myself better than I ever have now. And I wouldn't have had that same type of experience if it wasn't for Eva. Just, that's the truth. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be on this journey of understanding my soul and connecting to spirit and all of that. It's Eva that brought me here, and I'm so grateful for her. There's a clearer view of everything, right? The truth comes into full focus. I was a historian, and I had so much meaning that I found in that job. But after Eva died, it just didn't hold the same gravity, the same desire anymore. I was different, and I needed something different in my days. And I'm now living my days as a stay-at-home mom with Eva's baby brother. Because even though I was a working mom with my oldest, Max, and if Eva had never received a terminal diagnosis and had been a typical child, I probably would have gone, continued to work and put her in daycare and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I did that with my first. It's just after Eva, I wanted something different for my next child, and I didn't honestly want to be away from him. And I'm so very grateful that my husband now has a job that gave us this possibility for me to stay home. And it's not easy. We're living on one income, but we're making it work. And this just isn't something I would have done before Eva. And it's something I'm so grateful to be able to put my focus into now after Eva. I was a historian. We focus on political history in the state that I live in. And I was prided myself on being aware of current events, following the news. I feel like it's our duty to understand what's going on around us. And that became really hard to do after Eva. I couldn't deal with the pain of the world after Eva. I was so focused on my own that is a significant change for me. And I'm really now trying to get back into being aware of current events, because I do still find it important, but in a different way. It can't rule the days or cause an extreme amount of anxiety. You recognize what you can change and what you can't change. I couldn't change my daughter's diagnosis. I could not will her to live. And I can't change the war in Ukraine right now, as an example. Eva lived and died in 2017. That was when President Trump took office. And I'm not going to get into politics, but before Eva, I was very passionate about things like presidential elections. And after Eva, I just let it go. It just didn't hold the same weight in my day as it did before. Just as examples of things that changed. We are different human beings after our baby dies. And there's letting go of friends, there's letting go of family. It's taken us many years to celebrate Thanksgiving with our family again, because Eva died 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and the old Lori would have felt guilty for not participating, and the new Lori just doesn't feel guilty about a whole lot anymore. I'm doing what's right for me, what's right for my little family, my husband and my children. And you learn to let go of what people think about you. I know so many of us struggle with that. Maybe some of it is, I'm 41 now, so I think that there's stepping into the 40s and recognizing, who you really are and what's important and all that. But yeah, I just think that Eva has a significant role in it as well. I have even done things like, now I'm letting my hair grow out and grow gray. I probably wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the death of my daughter, and really tapping into who I am at the root. Who is this human? Who is this soul? What am I doing on this planet? What do I value? And I just no longer value dyeing my hair and looking at the roots every 2 weeks and focusing on that. So I'm letting it go, and I'm getting down to who I really am. And thank you, Eva, for letting me become me. Whew. I just finished this book called Rose's Choice by Deborah Kilby, and I'm now recommending it to every bereaved mother, especially those of you that are interested in your connection to your child and spirit. Healing the wounds of the mother, a journey into the world of the spirit baby, and how we can build a new earth together. And just briefly, Deborah released her daughter, Rosa, who had genetic complications, and dealt with a lot of guilt and grief, and she was living in the darkness for some time, until gradually Rosa started opening Deborah up to this different understanding of spirit and their connection and their work in this lifetime together. And Deborah has come a long way, and I think it's been 10 years since Rosa left this earth. And Deborah is a powerful, amazing conduit of spirit. And she actually shares messages from her daughter now. She's a channel for her. And the wisdom that Rosa has to share with us is so beautiful and so inspiring. And a lot of it focuses on that these children are here to teach us, to help us grow as humans, to connect us to the other realms. Not that you have to find all of this in the death of your child, but why not? Why wouldn't we find this beauty that exists? Yeah, you're going to focus on the sadness of it all, but with everything in life, there's a balance, there's opposites, and there is a joy in all that they bring to us. So I really just kind of challenge you to embrace the change a bit. And some of you may be early in your journey, and just let these words kind of sit with you for a while. You don't have to flip the script quite yet. There's processing you need to do. You're still in shock. You know, there's things I had to move through to get to this point. But I would just ask you maybe after this video to sit and write down, just free write. Think about the changes that have taken place in your life since your beautiful child was here. Think about your game changer and some of the gifts that they've given to you, some of the wisdom that they've opened you up to. And I did a little something different this time. I pulled a card, but actually I pulled two cards. They both came for this video, and this is from the Earth Magic deck. I've shared this once before. It's really what I consider to be Eva's deck. I used it a lot when I was pregnant and grieving her. So the first card I pulled was Dawn, New Beginnings. And isn't that true of, I've got my light shining on there, of where we're at. We are experiencing new beginnings like never before after the death of our child. And dawn, how beautiful. The light is shining back again after the darkness of night. So I'm just going to briefly, I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't want the whole video to get too long. When you witness the initial stages of dawn without the benefit of a clock or other timepiece, for a while you may not be able to discern whether the sky is really lightening. The stars remain visible, and shadows of the night still shape the landscape. It is that way with any beginning. It is difficult to tell where the old ends and the new begins. Gradually, however, it becomes clear to your senses that the light is definitely increasing, and as you continue to observe, the world slowly wakes up, accompanied by all the sounds, smells, and freshness associated with it. Soon the first glimmer of the sun shows. A new day has begun. This is a time to say farewell to the old and honor the new by releasing any self-imposed constraints or resistance to the truth that you know. This is your chance to develop that project you've been thinking about. Embark on that adventure you have dreamed of going on. Take risks in initiating what your intuitive self has been telling you to do. As this prospect becomes increasingly visible and real, doubts and uncertainties may arise, but rest assured, just as dawn inevitably turns into day, by heeding your inner guidance, you will succeed. So that's just a beautiful message for you, dear parents, as you move out of the darkness into the light. And the next card that I pulled is Wind. Trying to get that light to not. Activation. And the message that this gives to us. The lethargy you feel is the result of a lack of activation, right? We can get real stagnant in our grief. In other words, something that stirs your senses. This could be anything from walking outdoors, feeling the breeze on your body, or inhaling the different aromas that nature herself provides. Or it could be finding the pleasure in a warm bath that helps you release the tension and stress from your mind and body. Music may activate your hearing, which sparks the pleasure centers in your brain. Art may activate your emotional response. The touch of another human may activate a deep need to be physically held in some manner once again. Now is a time for activation. Engage in some activity and be fully present so that you forget about your surroundings and enter into that timeless and multidimensional experience of union with the focus of your creative attention. Let your physical body be active. Movement alone, whether quietly dancing by yourself or hiking up that hill over yonder, will require you to be as present as possible in your body. Enjoy. And I will leave you on that note. Remember, you can always reach out through my email or through Instagram. Leave a comment below if this video touched you, or if you have some message you want to relay to other parents that may be watching this. All of my information, of course, is in the description box below. I am here for you. We are on this ginormous game changer of baby loss together. And may you find the beauty in your beloved game changer as well. Peace to you, dear parent.